Tonight, the Kangaroos are looking to carry last week's form from the MCG to VFL Park. They confounded followers of form by easily beating Melbourne after losing first up to the Bears. And the Roos hope to add the Lions to their list of victims.
23-point lead to North Melbourne. Amazing transformation.
And the Roys are hoping to recapture the glory of early September 1986, when fighting for their very survival, they rose to great heights in the finals. This year, the Lions started with a whimper against Melbourne, but gave a characteristic roar last week against the Saints.
The Roys have kicked 4 in 8 minutes. Quinlan's got his third.
North are led by the gallant Schimmelbusch in game 299. He's backed by a handful of veterans, plus a very talented group of youngsters, the Darrens, Steele and Crocker. And Peter German back to the seniors this week after a week in exile. The biggest lion in the jungle is skipper Rendell. Richard Osborne was at his best last week, while Doug Barwick is another of the Mercurial Brigade. And Paul Roos is just about the best in the game today. Good evening and welcome to VFL Park, where for the first time in Victorian Football League history, a match will be played under lights for premiership points at the VFL's own ground. And a very important, intriguing and interesting match it is between Fitzroy and North Melbourne. Both lost first up but rebounded with very good wins. Both are contenders for the top 5 this year. Both have been there once in the last 2 years, and they've fought out a number of very interesting and usually close contests against each other in that time. But North have certainly had the wood on the Lions. In fact, since John Kennedy went to Arden Street in 1985, North haven't lowered their colours against Fitzroy. Well, Bernie Quinlan has played for Fitzroy in those 2 years and many years before that, and I suppose knows that team and also the opposition tonight reasonably well. Bernie, any reasons why the Roos have had the wood?
Yes, Tim, last year they did have the wood on us. They beat us twice, as you said. But the previous years before that, the few years, we did have a fairly good record against them, and we kicked a particularly high score, 34 goals against them one year when they were on top of the ladder. So I don't think you could say that North Melbourne have had it all their way. But one reason could be that they've had the Crackers, and they've always seemed to fire against us. But with the Crackers, Jimmy out tonight, and with the cloud over Phil, I think that the sides will be much more evenly balanced.
Well, regular Friday night viewers have seen plenty of North Melbourne already. What about Fitzroy? Do you think the Lions might struggle without you and one or two others this year?
Well, apparently their form was very good last week. I didn't see it, of course, but they were back to the Fitzroy, moving the ball very well and very quickly. And their forward line with Osborne back in the side was functioning very well, and Gary Keane playing at centre half forward has made a big difference. So I think they've covered the losses fairly well.
Who do you like tonight? I know you like Fitzroy, but who do you think will win?
Well, I think mainly there is a cloud over Mossop, and with the Crackers out of the side, I'm going for Fitzroy.
Thought you might. Well, let's go to the centre bounce, or moments before the centre bounce, and we'll join Doug Hayward.
Good evening, viewers, and it's a very, very disappointing crowd. As I entered the ground tonight, I walked in with President of North Melbourne, Bob Ansett, who thought there might be about 12,000 would attend tonight. When I told Tim Lane that it might be 12,000, there might be about 12 here, he said 12 might be much closer to the mark. It really is the smallest crowd that I think I've ever seen to a league football match, and it's a very disappointing one for the VFL, because it's the first night that we've had a night match at VFL Park. I really do think, in retrospect, it's been advertised very badly, and that very few people knew the time of starting or the match had been transferred, and certainly the facts look to be that way, because we're just a few moments before the start of the match. Two teams are out on the ground, of course, and there's very, very few people here, so it's bad luck for the VFL, Tim and Bernie.
Yes, this was one of a couple of matches which were originally scheduled for Saturday afternoons and were subject to late change.
Bob Ansett incidentally thought that if it had been on a Saturday afternoon, they might have got about 18,000. So North Melbourne, who I admire tremendously for their ability to change and play at any particular venue they think might help them as a team, will be bitterly disappointed with the turn up here tonight.
Yes, I think, Doug, that the league will have to have a look at these Friday night venues, because the conditions aren't always ideal for football, as we saw last week with the greasy ball. It looks a lot better tonight, with that touch of breeze. But it's something that, you know, the players don't enjoy playing in such small crowds as there is here tonight.
I guess they don't enjoy playing at night, Bernie.
Well, I certainly didn't, Doug. I know that.
I don't think anybody did, and I think as we get to this part of the season that in Melbourne night football is pretty unattractive.
The umpires for this opening match in round 3, Gavin Dorr and Ross Castle. That's umpire Dorr with the ball. He'll set the game in motion in just a moment. Fitzroy going from left to right in the first term. Skipper Matt Rendell in the ruck, opposed by John Mossop. And round 3 gets underway under the lights of VFL Park. Perfect bounce from umpire Dorr and a perfect knock by Mossop. Holmes, Arsieri and the Roos into attack. McCann back in the seniors after being dropped. Holt. And the Kangas mount the offensive. Too far for Fairley, the dangerous cracker. Nice hand pass, McCann. Fairley. Good start, North Melbourne. Beautiful movement of the ball. Virtually not a Fitzroy player touching it from the centre bounce. And Ian Fairley puts North Melbourne a goal in front inside 30 seconds.
And that all started in the middle there with a good knockout from John Mossop. This is going to be an important duel and have a big bearing on the game, Rendell and Mossop, and it's very important to get the ball out of the centre and get the first crack at the get the ball up the forward line very quickly.
Fairley, who was a star last week actually in the night match, took 11 marks, has opened up in brilliant form. John Mossop up again with Rendell. Mossop wins it. It's sharked this time by Pekin. Pekin out wide, a good leap by Crocker and a fine mark. Crocker on half-back flank.
Goes direct. Spargo had front position, but beautifully outpointed by Kapler. First-year player from South Adelaide, Roos. The running Roos playing against the Roos. And another newcomer for Fitzroy, Armstrong, is taken over the line. He's wearing Dean Turner's old jumper, number 14. Turner, of course, with the West Coast Eagles this year. 1 goal plays nothing, North in front.
Demetrio, hand passes smothered by Roos. Roos there with the ball.
Throwing the ball by Rendell.
One-hander, down it comes, and a good tackle by Holmes that time. Holmes underneath all of it, number 44. Rendell there battling with Steele. The free kick goes Fitzroy's way. Out wide now. McIver, he's downed by Demetrio. Play on. Free kick is played in the advantage rule. It's driven right downfield. From behind, it's punched out wide. The opportunity for Fitzroy. Here comes Pekin. Pekin is down, nicely picked up by Ackley. Ackley out towards the half-back flank, but it's over the white line on the full, and the free kick, of course, will go to Fitzroy.
And it looks like McIver. Or is it? It's not.
Keane.
It's Keane, wearing the socks down, a la McIver. Oh, well taken. Ackley, atoning for the error of a moment ago. Schimmelbusch, captain in superb form last week. That was a poor kick, though. Probably the difference between a champion and one close to that status, in that the champion didn't quite miskick the ball over the boundary line on the full. He John Beckwith to within about a centimetre, and a throw in the result.
Fancy you remembering John Beckwith, Tim Lane.
I read about it.
Nobody could do it better than Johnny. In the 50s, the captain of Melbourne in the great era for them, Johnny Mossop. Out wide it goes. Opportunity for Steele. Steele across nicely, and here comes Schimmelbusch again. Drives it very wide, looking for Phil Cracker. Beautifully done. Phil Cracker, perfect judgment. Out to Fairley. Fairley's second goal. Or did he just miss it? He missed it. Oh, what an important player, Ian Fairley. Not a regular has been in the first few moments of this match.
Yes, Fairley was superb last week at the MCG against Melbourne, and he seems to be continuing on that form.
Duthie at fullback. Another one of Fitzroy's interstate recruits. And he finds Roos on the 50-metre line. Brownlow medal favourite last year, and most people's best player of the season. Pekin missed it, should have taken it, gets it back. Well done. Conlon to half forward. Ackley forced to spoil, and did it well.
Armstrong, that was Armstrong to Barwick.
And Barwick, who's kicked 5 goals in each of the first 2 weeks, is away to a flyer again.
Thanks for your help, Bernie. I haven't seen Armstrong before.
Yeah.
He was the player who dobbed the big long one down and made it easy for Barwick.
He had me thinking for a minute, Tim. I haven't seen anything of Armstrong really, but by process of elimination, I worked out that it was Armstrong.
Well, he's the only one you haven't played with.
Yeah, that's right, Doug.
Tim comes from Tim's home territory, or almost, down in Hobart. Played for Tasmania.
And there's a very dangerous player also, Barwick. I'll have to watch him very closely
He's
tonight.
a very, very good player, Douglas Barwick. In they come again. And this time it's Rendell wins it down towards McIver. Pekin couldn't get the kick. Our series down. Umpire's whistle blows and he'll bounce it again almost in the centre of the ground.
So I'll point the difference. The instructions being received down at ground level already. Just about over the shoulder, but no free kick. Siri. I can never fathom some of the decisions at these ruck duels. Cracker is really giving Thornton the runaround. Third possession in 5 minutes. He looks dangerous. McCann didn't quite lunge straight at the ball. Pekin and Ruse. Third kick already for the champion defender. Well taken, Shimmer, who's winning plenty of the ball. He's really started this season in great style after perhaps showing the strain of 290-odd games last year. He's looking great at the start of 87. Dwyer, well tackled. And Ruse was the tackler. He's starring. Spargo, well tackled. Well done, Mossop. Used the body to out-jostle Ruse. Holt and Mossop the knock-on. But Pekin the clearing kick. Holmes, German, well tackled, or was he? Yes, he was. Penalised for holding the ball, and Leon Harris takes it.
Leon Harris, who's the top possession getter for Fitzroy for the 2 matches that we've had in season 1987, gets a 15-metre penalty. Kicks it out wide to Ruse. Ruse's opponent, Fairley, has also done well, let's not forget. Ruse a driver. Beautiful kick. What a magnificent kick down to Stevens. And Brett Stevens takes a fine mark. But that was a classical pass by Paul Ruse. And this itinerant footballer who's been around all over the place with other clubs has got the opportunity to kick Fitzroy's first goal. When he puts boot to ball, he'll be just on the 50-metre line. Won't quite make the distance, and a wonderful leap by Conlon, and it's pushed through.
Goal to Osborne.
Osborne it was, the opportunist. And what an opportunist he is, Bernie Quinlan.
Yes, they really miss him when he's out of the side, Fitzroy, and with him back on the forward line and Keane doing well at centre forward, it really makes a difference to the whole setup of the Fitzroy forward line.
Yes, he had a wonderful week last week. He kicked, I think, 5 and had about 25 possessions, which is a mammoth number of possessions for just on the forward line.
Good attempt by Conlon.
It was.
Unopposed.
Yeah, Mick flew high there. He's high marking hasn't been one of his best assets over the years, but he certainly got off the ground there.
So Fitzroy kicking goals 2 and 3 in the match to gain a 5-point lead, and Rendell gives them a thump forward. Crocker lucky to have received a push in the back, in the opinion of the umpire. Gets the free kick. He and Demetrio got themselves into trouble by contesting against each other. Crocker goes wide. Allison from behind. Ruse at the back. Good smother Fairley. Hinchin. Pressure from Allison. Sweep it to Conlon with gusto. Back to Hinchin. Steady player. Good pass. Awkward bounce for Stevens. German brought down. Armstrong. But the ball will come back.
I think German was not in possession is the verdict. And Peter German, who spent last week with the reserves, which he wouldn't enjoy because he's been a prolific kick getter and one of North Melbourne's very good players in the last couple of years, drive down towards centre wing. Demetrio jostled very cleverly and strongly out to Arsiri. Arsiri down towards the flank. In front there was Fairley, picked up by John Holt. Hand pass is a bit slick for Demetrio. He's bumped over by Billy Loken. Loken follows on, then it's Hinchin again. Awkward bounce, punched over downfield by Ruse. Diving after it, Holt again. Dangerous kick there that time by Loken. And it's ugly football. Pekin, now Holt. Holt down. Umpire will have to blow the whistle eventually to clear this mess, and I think he'll bounce it.
Very willing.
Very intense. From Yarrawonga down towards centre wing position. in front, almost to North Melbourne mark. Well played, Schimmer, once again. Out wide it goes to German. German very cleverly taken by Dwyer. Dwyer to Cracker, and Cracker's third mark. And he's running a very difficult opponent all over the ground. That's out it goes to German. German dodges cleverly. German a very long kick downfield. Steve McCann outmanoeuvred. Picked up by Hinchin, a very good defender. Hinchin's kick should have been marked by Dwyer. Dwyer's still got a chance. Foots it back towards full forward. And up goes North Melbourne once again. Out in front and well picked up by Thornton. And Thornton boots them out of trouble.
First kick, his opponent's had about 4 possessions already. Conlon covering some territory. Keane in the middle of the ground. Pekin. Good-looking move this by Fitzroy. Lovely delivery to Rendell from just outside 50. Drives long and misses everything. No, he doesn't. He just scores a behind. The Lions first. And 2-1 plays 1-1. The big man in harness, looking fit at the start of the season. Bernie, how important is he?
Very important, Tim. They rely on him to get the ball moving and to get the ball out to the smaller players.
And a big punch downfield. Schimmelbusch gets a bad bounce. Conlon caught, kicks for goal. Brilliant, Mickey Conlon. Absolutely brilliant. He was under pressure, and there's a lot of strength in that muscly frame. He took it well, and once again it's a Conlon Fitzroy goal.
Yeah, Mick's probably fitter than he's been over the last few years too, Doug, because he's had a lot of injury problems with feet and toe and heel injuries, and I think he's really just starting to get over these problems.
He is burning a beautiful kick for goal when he gets it, isn't he?
He's magnificent on the run. I don't think there's any better shot for goal than Mick Conlon on the run.
So Fitzroy have kicked 3 in a row to lead by 12 points at 11.5 minutes in, first term. And here they go again through the Camperdown newcomer Hinkley. Danger. Armstrong. Over-enthusiastic perhaps. Really blazed away then. There was no steering that ball. He gave it the lot. And unfortunately for him, he missed.
He's looked pretty good, nevertheless, for his first game. Bad luck he missed that one, but he's got the ball nicely. Stevenson kicks it out long. Your leap from behind by McIver. A good punch it was too. An awkward one for Stevens. He'll be met by Stevenson and over the line. Neither player flinched. It's out of bounds. Fitzroy in attack.
Stevenson gave him the charge.
Yes, good, strong, aggressive football.
12.5 minutes down first term. Keane rucking for Fitzroy against the taller Mossop. Mossop won it, but defensively. On the bench for North Melbourne, McRae, and I expect John Law is the other interchange player. He came into the action in the second half last week and did very well in attack. German. Pity to see him down on form. Let's hope he can get some of it back in a hurry. And once again, courtesy of the skipper, number 20, Schimmelbusch, it's taken over the line. North Melbourne won last time they met in June last year by 32 points. That was at VFL Park. They won both encounters last year and both in 85.
Oh, could have been a free kick to Keane that time. Well played by Armstrong again. Opportunity now for a one downfield. And a left footer goes down towards centre wing position. It's all Fitzroy. Only man down was Demetrio. In a flash it goes across to German. German out to Dwyer. Dwyer sends it down the Phil Cracker direction. He's in front again. My word, he's played beautifully against a very talented player in Thornton. Perfect pass. A beautiful pass to McCann. And Cracker has been a dynamo.
Every time he's touched it, he's given it to a player in a blue and white jumper.
I think that just about sums his career up, Tim. He's really utilises the ball to perfection. And against a very close checking player who Bernie will talk about in a minute, Ross Thornton, he's taken all the points as McCann kicks for goal. Long one by Stephen McCann, but off direction. But Thornton would be one of the hardest players in the game to beat, Bernie, wouldn't he?
He's one of Fitzroy's most reliable backmen, Doug, yes. And over the last few years, there's probably been none more consistent than Ross Thornton. He's now 30 years of age, and he's had a magnificent career since coming over from Paran.
Good lead from Roos, running into space, and nicely delivered too by Duthie. 15 metres against Cracker, who really is a model, Phil Cracker. His brother Jim is sidelined at the moment and has had his share of troubles, but Phil does little wrong that I've ever seen anyway. Osborne to Conlon was a great hand pass, and there's a free kick, and now advantage as Conlon wanted to run on. Ackley, who's got the job on Barwick. Stevenson, well tackled by Barwick. Still a chance. Blakey it is, brought to ground, and a ball up 30 metres out from Fitzroy's goal, and the Lions leading by 12 points, looking aggressive and menacing.
Yes, Demetrio was the man who tackled Blakey then, but the Fitzroy looking good. It's in there, almost up to their full forward zone. Mossop goes up and plays on with it. Nice punch down towards Crocker. Over it goes, and chance for German in everything. Couldn't find a hand pass out. Eventually kicked it out, but unluckily for North Melbourne, the whistle had gone, and there'll be yet another umpire bounce.
Halfway through the first quarter, 20 plays 8. Fitzroy in front. Mossop rucking with plenty of energy. Good hand pass. If it was a hand pass, it was ruled fair by Holmes to Crocker to Demetrio, and now to half forward. Danger. Phil Cracker and Dwyer. Good delivery. McCann. Dwyer very steady and balanced, and gave it beautifully with the left boot. He didn't like the look of that hand pass back upfield, Bernie. That's a good delivery to Dwyer, who kept on running into position.
Yes, the old two-handed hand pass, that one, Tim. I think the umpire may have been on the blind side, otherwise he may have pulled that up and given a free to Fitzroy.
Rendell got away with one a little earlier, which was worse.
That's right,
so perhaps it's 15 all. Fifth kick now for Dwyer. Shot at goal. Good kick. Just fading. North Melbourne's third behind, and the Roos trail by 11 points after 16 minutes in the first term.
What a lovely time has Stephen McCann had at full forward to some of those beautiful passes, in particular from Cracker. Wide out again looking for Roos. He's always the target. Kapler should have held that one. Plays on and loses it. Kicked off the ground by Harris. Downfield it goes. Past the two players. Chance now. Scoop out. Leon Harris. On it goes to Armstrong again. Armstrong down to an open territory, but it's beautifully picked up by Smith. Smith cleverly hand passes, and it's fumbled over the line by Ackley. Not often does David Ackley make a mistake, particularly in ball handling, but it's over the line out of bounds, and Fitzroy again in attack.
Roy's interchange players warming up. Mark Scott on the bench, and I think it was Graham Osborne on the interchange for the Roys at the outset. Arsieri lucky to fall into the arms of Demetrio. Not that there was anything else he could do, but it was a pretty blind kick. It's straight to the North wingman, or halfback. He sometimes is. And now a throw in just backward of the wing for North Melbourne. And these two teams historically pretty even. Fitzroy have won 56 to 54 of 111.
Demetrio again. He's battled strongly, pushed to the ground. Thought there might have been a free for him there. Interesting move to see. Conlon seems to have the job of looking after Schimmelbusch, and I wouldn't have thought Mickey Conlon would be the greatest shadow in the business.
Or is it vice versa?
I would have thought that way, but still. Here's a chance now for Pekin out towards Hinkley. Oh, Wasburn, a huge leap. A pick up there again. Fitzroy cannot break through, and eventually it's going to be bounced. A tap on the head there. Billy Loken gives to his teammate, says well done to McIver, and umpire will bounce.
20 plays 9. The Lions in front. German, Allison it was, getting the hand pass out. And another ball up. The Roo machine was certainly rolling last week. Not so thus far tonight. Just one goal on the board, and that came in 30 seconds. They haven't kicked another in 18 minutes. Well done, Rendell, doing the heavy work. Ross Smith, who's got the tough job on Osborne, very important role he has to play. It'll be a purely defensive one, and that was a purely defensive kick, although he could have hit Dwyer. He seemed to go for the line, and the throw-in to take place on Fitzroy's half-forward flank.
Yes, upon consideration, I think you're probably right, Tim. It probably would be Schimmer, would be picking up Conlon. In come the big fellows, and Mossop over the top easily of Keane that time. Couldn't take it with him. And ball underneath a mass of players. Crocker, very promising young man, will be a player of the future with a vengeance. There's the umpire with the logo on the back, which is a new thing in the game. Mossop again downfield, nicely picked up by Crocker. Crocker doesn't cover too much distance. McIver pursues it to the line, and it's Holt eventually who goes over with the ball, or chasing the ball. It's out of bounds on the outer centre wing. Period
of inactivity in this first quarter. North just struggling, it seems, at the moment. Goalless for nearly 20 minutes. Schimmelbusch. Quick kick, didn't have time to look. McIver went the spoil, goes back to it with Thornton. Blakey and Allison in pursuit. Good tackle, but good hand pass. Pekin. Beyond the wing. Steele from behind. First touch, I think. Crocker. And good tackling by the Lions to keep the ball in their attacking half. They're looking more aggressive, a bit more meaningful about it all.
Very intelligent play by Crocker that time. Left his man to help his teammate and did it very well. German in lots of trouble. Foot the ball, covers a few metres. Demetrio very strong. Hand passes out. Look out, Dwyer. Back it goes. Opportunity now for a long kick down there from Smith. Holmes it was. And it's nicely taken by Arsieri. He's caught. He was off, but the umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. Arsieri, kick number 5, looks for McCann. McCann gets an awkward bounce as the big fellow. Picked up by Roos. Right on the boundary line. Out to Blakey. Blakey in the back pocket, kicks it wide. And the mark is very nicely taken right over there on the flank by McIver.
Finds Kapler. Barwick wins it back after being dispossessed. Lovely sidestep, Armstrong. His second shot at goal. Well done, Smith. Even though he had front position, he took no risks with Osborne and went for the line with the spoil.
So I guess Richard Osborne just a bit too keen on that back position, the big fly, Bernie.
Yes, it's something he does fall into, that trap at times, Doug. But Smith is playing him very closely at the moment.
Well done there by Stevens. A kick off the ground is a beauty. And it's Armstrong again. A most impressive debut from the youngster. His first match, a rover from Hobart and Tassie, has represented Tassie, and he looks a nice little addition to the Fitzroy camp.
Yes, there's been some big raps on this fellow. He's only a young bloke, and there was a hole in the roving division at Fitzroy that needed to be plugged, and this fellow certainly seems to be fitting the bill at this stage.
The second rover who can kick goals is a coach's dream.
And David Parkin, well, not getting carried away, must be pretty happy with that scoreboard, 26-9. And this spasmodic North Melbourne lineup putting in a bad opening quarter after looking good in the opening minutes. I don't think Parkin will be smiling yet. Probably not until about 30 minutes into the last quarter. Smith had to kick in a hurry, again under pressure. German rode it beautifully. There was a forearm in it too, but it didn't worry him at all. Cracker, inside 50. And he kicked a great goal from out there last year against North Melbourne in the wet. And that's not a bad attempt. Just touched. Oh, he's a freak. He's got that ungainly kicking action which seems to lack leverage, and yet he kicks the ball such long distances.
And Fitzroy's made a change very quickly. They've put Hitchin onto Cracker and moved Thornton off him.
Out wide it goes. McIver's the target. Behind it's Roos. Roos gets the run of it. Well played, Paul Roos. Under pressure, kicks it over the line, out of bounds on the full. And the resultant free kick, of course, to North Melbourne. But Paul Roos is just so often the target of the fullback. He's such a magnificent mark. Allison's to take the free kick. Very impressive performance last week from Allison. Long downfield. Steve McCann the target. Oh, beaten. It was fairly actually beaten by Roos that time. And that's not against you if you're beaten by Roos. He's a beautiful player. McIver with the ball. Lovely kick it was to Keane. Keane there looks downfield, looking for Armstrong, the youngster who's done so well. Armstrong scurries out in front of Steele. Hoofs it back looking for Barwick. Barwick takes a beauty. Oh, Douglas Barwick, the muscle man. His third kick, and he loves to kick a goal. And from about 55 metres, he's determined to blaze away.
He should just about make the distance from there too. He's a magnificent kick, Doug, when he gets onto them.
There he goes, and look at the distance. It's a thundering kick. It's a magnificent kick. Oh, just about make the distance. He's the new Super Beast. That's his second.
Yes, he can, kicking torpedoes last year at training. He was kicking them 80 metres, no problem, Doug. And
His disposal has let him down sometimes when he has been kicking on the run, but from set shots, there's probably none better kick than him in the side.
Great mark, wasn't it, too? Ackley just running under it slightly as Armstrong was in the action again. Beautiful centering kick with the left boot. Ackley made a bit of a mess of it, and Barwick capped off the mark with a great goal. And Fitzroy leading by 22 points. North in early trouble. Demetrio from out of the centre, blazes with the left, and blazes blindly and badly. Harris. And the Roys are out of trouble.
Kapler. Beautiful kick. Here's a chance again. Mickey Conlon's second goal. Wham! Doesn't he love them? I don't think anybody in football enjoys a goal more than Michael. And the only half-forward flank I've seen, Bernie, who kicked 10 one day.
Yeah, that's right, against Fitzroy, Doug, that was.
Unbelievable.
And, he was unstoppable that day.
Look at that kick of Kapler's.
But he's a very good player, Kapler. He's got tons of pace. He's a gift winner over in South Australia. And once he gets a run on, no one can catch him. And it was a very good kick, a long kick onto the forward line, caught them unawares. And Mick Conlon, no better man to finish it off than Mick.
6-2, plays 1-4. And it's all Fitzroy. North Melbourne a goal in 30 seconds, and we're now in time on, and they haven't added to that. Mossop and Rendell. Mossop wins, but the Roys win it back. Good bump by Armstrong on Crocker, followed up with a strong tackle and a ball up the result. And this number 14 for the Lions, first gamer from Tasmania, has made a tremendous start. Kicked a goal, could have had 2 and maybe even 3.
Yes, has had 7 possessions, a most auspicious debut in his first quarter. Looks the goods. Here's a good one too. Billy Loken, not a good kick. Ackley, as usual, in front. Takes the mark and takes it nice and safely. Kicks it out wide towards centre wing position. Demetrio, McIver up above him. Taken out there by Allison. Allison down to an open territory looking for German. And there's the great shadower. Pekin follows German over the line, centre wing position, or slightly towards the half-forward flank of North Melbourne.
Fairly doing the ruck work this time, number 6 for North, but Rendell easily with height. Well done, Harris and the tackler to pull the man over the ball off it. Thornton the knock-on. Armstrong again. 8th possession. Conlon. And Fitzroy running at the ball hard, tackling the man hard, and really starting to show us signs of the Roys of last year, who were so gallant in their assault, and the young supporters, young and old, enjoying it.
Yes, Fitzroy's been a team that's been a very closely knit unit, and they've really given their maximum nearly all of last season. And there's number 14 in the midst of it once again. Armstrong, Matthew Armstrong, who's done so well in his first quarter. We're at the 27.5-minute mark.
McCann on the ball, so North not using the luxury of him at full forward, even though he was there for the first 20 minutes or so.
Schimmelbusch downfield, and a gallant tumbling mark taken there. Nicely done Fairley, who's probably the best mark in the side. Up goes Rendell, couldn't hold that one. Spargo was there, nice play Pekin, out to Blakey. Blakey turns out of trouble. Blakey back to the centre of the ground, looking at centre half forward there for Keane. A big leap from Crocker. Nicely picked up by Schimmelbusch with tackle. Ruse, beautiful handballing. Thornton out wide. Loken steadies, sends it very long. It's a goal. Oh, a beautiful kick, Bill Loken. Over the top of Stevenson, running with the flight of the ball. And he assessed that perfectly, Bernie.
Really, this has been a brilliant opening by Fitzroy. Their midfield players have been very impressive, how they've got the ball and ran it down from the half-back line through the centre line. Here we see it again now, out to Logan. Really fancies a shot at goal occasionally. There's a long shot for goal. He must have been 60 metres out when he kicked that one, and it's bounced through. Great play.
Speaking of long ones, he kicked one of the longest ever, I think, at the Junction Oval one day, Bernie, from the middle of the ground, and bounced one through, I think.
That's right, yes.
Must have been about 90 metres, maybe 15 or so on the bounce from memory. There he is again. 7 goals to 1. Fitzroy on fire. Holt, unsighted in this first quarter after starring last week. Blakey a hand pass. Dwyer going wide. Cracker pushed. Oh, should have been a free kick, surely. Not paid. Amazing omission. Spargo. Cracker again. Back to Spargo. It's quarter time. Fitzroy's quarter. After North kicked a goal in 30 seconds, Fitzroy kicked 7. And at the first change, they lead by 34 points. Their goal kickers, 2 each to Barwick and Conlon. Singles to Armstrong, Loken and Osborne. And North Melbourne's only goal kicked by centre-half forward Fairley and John Kennedy with a long face. And I'm sure some stored-up feelings, which he might be about to vent in the North Melbourne huddle. At quarter time at VFL Park in the opening match of round 3, Fitzroy 7-2-44, North Melbourne 1-4-10.
Tuesday night, the investigators are on the trail of unscrupulous traders pursuing your right to a fair deal. Helen Wellings and Inga McLeod are joined by Eric Campbell, Lee McCluskey and John Millard, and they're ready to expose dishonesty, dangerous products, and help you with your legal rights as a consumer. In our next program, the computer that's supposed to make you the perfect punter. Join the investigators, 8 o'clock Tuesday on ABC.
Commencement of the second term. It's Fitzroy 7-2 to North Melbourne 1-4. The first bounce, and sitting on top of there is Pekin. Bodies everywhere. Blakey, another very promising young player, and Crocker. Crocker and Blakey both full of promise and will be stars of both sides of the future. Free kick might go to big Matt Rendell there, I think. It does, number 9. And what a difference this fella makes. He's deceptively strong and heavy. He's 103 kilograms downfield, looking for Keane. Keane couldn't hold it. Blakey's in the thick of things, and then there's another ugly pack develops, and the umpire will bounce.
John Law on the field. Spent the first term on the interchange, but he's out there and at half-back this week. His customary position. Big knock by Mossop. Dwyer, who was just about North's best in the first quarter. Crocker and Arsieri. Good pace from Arsieri and a bit mobile for Leon Harris. Good delivery too, and McCann couldn't have missed that. In fact, I don't think I would have missed it. I probably would have been about 5 or 6 metres behind my man after that run.
I was going to say, don't exaggerate too much. But Steve McCann's had some perfect passing to him throughout the night, and McCann is another long kick, and he kicks it absolutely perfectly. Well done, Steve, and he's deserved a goal. He's led intelligently, and he's had the full forward's dream. He's had 3 or 4 beautiful passes where if he kept running, he'd take them on his chest, and that was a beauty by Arsieri. They're the ones you love, Bern.
Yes, there's nothing here. We see it again. Arsieri, very clever player, Arsieri, and he's played well in the 3 games for North Melbourne so far this season. But there's nothing Duthy could do about it, a pass like that, and McCann, with the big, strong chest that he's got, nothing he could do at all.
Well, that goal took 90 seconds after the siren, and they kicked one 30 seconds after the siren at the start of the match, but none in between. We might see a different North Melbourne, though, in this second term. John Kennedy seems to have an amazing ability to fire this team, which goes through troughs and then climbs out to sometimes amazing peaks. German, who they need to get the spark. Rendell, the back fister. Ball up, the ball held to the red-haired Darren Steele, and umpire Dorr to bounce it 30 metres North's attacking side of the centre circle.
Mossop and Rendell again. Good even battle between the 2 big fellows. Taken by Allison in a flash to Holt. Holt kicks a thunderer, but it's just off to it's good. No, it bounced back and through. Yeah, it bounced back and through. Well, fortune favours the fair, and not many kick longer than John Holt, but he had a bit of luck with that one.
Yeah, they started off much more impressively this quarter, North Melbourne.
Well, 2 lightning goals.
Here it is, Johnny Holt. He was a long way out.
He used the right boot. I thought he did, and it was interesting to see the replay. He kicked one with the right boot last week, and he seems to have his confidence up with it.
Yeah, he's kicking well on the right foot, and he had a nice off-break on that one too.
So, the Roos hit back against the Roys, and the margin back to 22 points, and they're out of the centre bounce again through German. Oh, Blakey just held it in the unenviable situation of backing back then, not knowing what was behind him. Harris from behind the centre. Barwick forced to spoil. Stevens, danger here. Conlon, who's kicked 2. Couldn't get enough swing back on that, though. and missed all 21 metres of it for a free kick to Schimmelbusch in the last line.
Interesting to see all of a sudden that North are getting the ball out of the centre, and conspicuously doing most of it is German. Schimmer now kicks it out towards North Melbourne's half-back flank. Chance for German again, right on the boundary line, and takes it over the line, pursued by Pekin. It'll be thrown in on the half-forward flank with Fitzroy attacking from the outer side of the ground. There's their lead, 22 points. And we've played just 4 minutes into the second term. Mossop in front, the big fellow takes it and goes straight to McIver. McIver hooks it back, and the ball is punched over the line by Ross Smith. And it's out of bounds again, but Fitzroy's still in attack.
Hot pie and tomato sauce.
I thought it was a player for a moment. I thought, what's going on there?
Well, why not? You used to do it when you played, didn't you?
Yeah, quarter time.
That was a long time ago. That was back before the VFL was formed. Mossop, big fist on the ball.
I'll form you.
Armstrong again. McIver, well shepherded by Loken, made it easy. And the former Queenslander centres.
I thought he might be penalised.
Shepherd against Loken. Well, it depends upon whether the ball is within 5 metres, and the umpire Dorr ruled that it wasn't. So a free kick to Holt. This time he's using the left boot from the standing set kick. Crocker forced to spoil and did it well. So did Allison. Good knock on for Dwyer. Bad bounce. Nice balance though, and recovery. German to full forward. McCann, well spoiled by Duthie. Harris, but North's tackling much better now. Steele, left foot snap, but he too couldn't get enough hook. And it's a behind. North's 5th behind from 8 shots. Fitzroy have had 9 shots, but lead by 21 points, despite that 1 scoring shot difference.
We're just on the 6-minute mark in the second term. Hinchin straight down the centre of the ground, looking for Roos, as they always do, and he's beautifully outmarked by Allison. Allison's got a very big leap. His father, a North Melbourne champion, and there's another North Melbourne champion with the same name, young. Oh, look at the kick, but it's off direction. Steve McCann running with the flight of the ball, as was Duthie. It's through for 1 behind, but there's no doubt there's some promise there. There's number 33, Brett Allison.
So 9 scoring shots apiece now, and 20 points the difference. Duthie to the members' side. Blakey always in better position, hence the better recovery. Nice work, and they're running into position for the hand pass. Pekin forward of the wing now. Fitzroy mounting a dangerous offensive. Nice centering kick. Ackley forced to spoil, did it well. Barwick. Stevenson. And the North defence very desperate and determined then, and forcing a ball up. And Fitzroy looked as if it might be able to set up a goal.
Jamie Stevenson's done very well this year. He's only played 3 games in 2 years. Oh, free kick to John Law. Very bad tackle by young Armstrong. And John Law, one of the popular players of league football, full of courage and strength. Downfield it goes, Capra from behind, in front was Roos. Opportunity for Demetrio, good possession getter. Hand pass goes out to Schimmer. Schimmelbusch goes bouncing downfield, the pass is not good. Very clever football out wide. A chance now for Steele. Steele, back it goes to Schimmelbusch. Now he's about 40 metres out, now he's 30 metres. Very difficult angle, too difficult was the angle, and it just squeezes through for 1 behind.
No, missed the lot.
Made it, yes, as I thought, made the behind out.
What a pity. Great setup by North Melbourne, and great running by Schimmer, Bernie.
He's looking fitter than ever, Schimmer. You know, for 34, he's moving very well.
And what a great week for him next week when he plays his 300th over the Easter weekend. Mark just inside.
And that's Kenny Hinkley's taken that mark.
Oh, dangerous kick. His 2nd in league football could be a disaster. Fortunately, a fumble by German. Fortunate for him. Now Rendell. North spoiling and tackling much better now. Kapler, Harris, good tackle, German. Oh, that's a great tackle. It was Allison, in fact, and this youngster is full of potential. Nice delivery too. German now out on the half-forward flank. Arsieri and Demetrio saw each other coming. Demetrio, Osborne, under pressure kick poorly. German again. Cracker out of position. And a throw in the forward pocket.
Osborne on the ball. He's had a very quiet time up forward. He's kicked one goal, which was from about a metre out. But Richard Osborne, who swung on the ball, he's got everything to be a superb player on the ball. Rendell wins this one. Out to Loken. Downfield there looking for Armstrong, who jostles very well 2-1 against him. Mossop, nice football. Hand pass comes back to Law. Law steadies now. Oh, well played. Beautiful pass. And John Holt then gets it very wide, looking for Dwyer and finds him. Dwyer played on and he's caught. Out wide to Allison. They're fiddling around too much. Here comes Ross Smith. Sends it very long down to the goalpost. Up goes Osborne and punches it down, taken by Pekin. A very good hand pass to McIver. On it goes to Thornton. Thornton out wide and jostling and running with the flight of the ball. Well played. Taken there once again by the little fellow Armstrong.
Centering kick, but not such a good one. Ackley. No one there for the Kangaroos. McIver deliberated. Oh, very lucky. Very lucky, I thought. What do you think, Bernie?
Yes, I thought he held on it a bit longer. The North player only had a grab hold of his Guernsey and he would have had him for being in possession.
Here's the mercurial one. Osborne. Plenty of shepherders and men for the hand pass. Stevenson foils Stevens and forces a throw in. And the fair-haired Jamie Stevenson doing well at fullback.
Yes, he's played very, very close and he's checked Brett Stevens particularly well. Mossop, too tall for Keane. Law in the back against Conlon. There's two muscle men if there ever were. No point in that one, Mickey. You ain't going to lose 15 metres.
No, he lets himself down with that sort of play, Mick.
Law hand passes out to Schimmelbusch. Schimmelbusch down towards the half-forward line. From behind Rendell, the only one with the height. Over the top he goes and takes a fine mark. Rendell. 15 metres to him too, his sixth kick. And the captain's played pretty well. Kicks it down looking for Keane. Keane goes up and takes a fine mark. Very good mark. And Gavin Keane, who really has got a pair of sticky fingers.
And Fairley's playing at centre-half back on Keane.
Yes, I noticed it.
And Crocker's centre-half forward playing on Paul Roos.
Well, Paul Roos took over in the first term. Down it goes, and Mossop's the only one and takes the mark and took it very well.
Barwick asking for a shepherd in that situation too. He felt he was
he's
held
given
out.
it away.
Ackley. Rendell, like the Eiffel Tower. McIver, well tackled by Fairley, back in defence. Pekin. Dwyer. Demetrio. Good tackling by Thornton. Slick hand pass. Dwyer again. Looking every bit the will-o'-the-wisp. Twinkle toes like his father. Roos beating Crocker. Good tackling, Crocker. And good smothering by Allison. Holt. Steele. Now Cracker. Great chance, North Melbourne. He doesn't miss those. Give him a chance around goal and he will deliver every time. And Phil Cracker gives North Melbourne their fourth with the help of some great lead-up. And suddenly the margin is just 14 points.
Yes, they're ever dangerous, those crackers around the goals. You can't give them a yard of space and they make the most of it. They're beautiful kicks for goals. The snap shooting is especially good, and here we see Phil now. On the left foot, he's got quite an awkward style, but he very rarely misses.
I'd say David Parkin would be furious that someone left Cracker with that sort of latitude, Bernie.
Yes, well, Graham Hinchin's got the job.
Been blowing a fuse, well, David. Mossop wins this one, thumps it down again, another 15 metres. Coming through strongly there was Blakey, came back to him, dodges. Demetrio, good tackle. Blakey's kick not far. Oh, Matt Rendell didn't look as if he wanted that one very desperately. Away from him it goes again. Kapler comes in, but German's going to take it. He's tackled by Pekin. Over goes Mossop from a good Bill Loken bump. And umpire, how will bounce. As Mark Scott didn't bring up.
Perhaps the Roy's going for some height. think they're being out-tackled and out-jostled at the moment. Out-desperation. Demetrio from half-forward. Duthie the spoil. Harris a bit desperate and panicky looking. And a ball up just outside the square. Scott is about to come on, and he's going up into attack. So Fitzroy looking for some centimetres. They're also looking to get the ball up there. It hasn't been there too much lately.
And Brett Stevens is off, who hasn't done much in the full forward zone against a very good Jamie Stevens of North Melbourne. Back to the play where the ball is in the teeth of North Melbourne's goal. Rendell to do battle with Mossop, with McCann, out to Arceri. Arceri is swamped. Great hand pass out to Blakey. Blakey on to Roos, the great runner. Roos then drives it very wide. Chance there, oh, well handled Keane. Keane follows on and hits it further downfield, trying to give Conlon the chance. Conlon hits at the boundary line, and slithering over the line is North Melbourne, and it's out of bound from Shimmer.
Thought there might have been an out on the full. It looked as though it might have come off the boot, didn't
I
it?
nearly jumped out of my seat there, Tim, but I thought it did come off the boot, but obviously the umpire was in a better position than us.
It's Holmes preparing to come on for North Melbourne. No sign of anyone wanting to leave the arena at the moment, though. Mossop doing pretty well against the giant Rendell. Steele and Schimmelbusch again running off half-back. Dwyer, fine player tonight, but well tackled by Kapler. Blakey. Gee, the tackling is very good in this quarter. Down goes German. Now Blakey. Did well. Conlon to half-forward. Barwick, oh, well played. Stevenson. Ackley. Wouldn't have liked to have been waiting for that hand pass, and he pays the penalty. Free kick to Pekin on the half-forward flank.
And he's been everywhere, Tim Pekin. Been a very productive player tonight.
Built up a bit from last year, not as pencil thin.
No, he does work hard. He's one of the fittest guys around the club, and he's running. No one can get near him in the distant runs, but he has done a lot of work in the gym too.
Is Mark Scott from about 50 metres out on the half-forward flank, a difficult angle, a good-looking kick, but it's right to the teeth of goal. In front was Crocker, and will claim it. Umpire in dispute said it was even Steven between Crocker and Keane, and will bounce it. I thought Crocker, the front man, might have taken the points. Right in the teeth of goal. Hit through there by Stevenson, and that's another behind. 4 goals, 6 to North Melbourne, and 7-3 to Fitzroy.
Fitzroy's first score of the quarter, taking almost 17 minutes. And North have kicked 3-2 in that time. Seems there might be a breeze advantage out there, because most of the scoring happening at the right-hand end. Now, Hinkley going through strongly, losing it. Pekin. Good stuff, Steele. Holt, as North pries it out of Fitzroy's possession. Allison, the running German. Through the centre he goes. Looking as though form is coming back to him. Good lead, good pass. McCann is 45 metres out directly in front. He'll kick from about 50, in fact. But kicked one from there earlier. He's directly in front. Could cut the margin to 9 points. It's high. It's very long. Just offline. 31 plays 45. 14-point deficit faced by North Melbourne, as Hitchin puts it back in.
Looking for Osborne. Richard Osborne in front, and a fine mark. I think Peter German's been the player of this quarter. He's got the ball out at centre bounces, been a very hard runner, has played superbly. Nice mark, Loken. Plays on towards centre wing. All Fitzroy arms go up. Paul Roos, as the man, comes down with it. Out wide to Billy Loken again. Loken with that left foot, puts it down towards centre half forward. Scott's the man who almost got it. Law's with it. Law out wide past McIver. Mossop nicely done. Looks for a hand pass back to Demetrio. Demetrio very slick to Arceri. He sends a driver to McCann. Oh, what a kick. Or was it German?
It was German again, yes.
German again. That was the most perfect pass. And Steve McCann, who's kicked at thunderous distances, will have no trouble with the distance. He's 50 metres out. It's the accuracy will worry him. long and high and strong, but off direction, and that's the second point from the Steve McCann boot in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes, and Steve had a couple of opportunities there to get the ball moving quickly, but he
James
chose to go
Cracker.
back for the long kick.
It's Jimmy Cracker watching brother Phil.
Would that be another cracker?
Could possibly be. I know what Jimmy and Phil look like, but not Billy and so on. Hitchin to McIver, Ruse, Hinkley now. Hasn't had too many grabs and the hands are still a bit cold. Oh, well smothered Demetrio. Just couldn't keep it in. Valiant attempt. Really, North's tackling in this quarter has been a feature, and I think we can sense that John Kennedy impact. No doubt he really stirred the Roos up at quarter time, and they are just committing themselves that much more. Good sharking McIver. Osborne to half forward. Scott just a bit low for him. Barwick looking dangerous, but oh, very well played Ackley. Stevenson. Oh, it's fierce. Crocker well tackled, but the ball held to him as the decision of the adjudicator. And a ball up, and it's tense in the coaches' boxes. Even the unflappable Kennedy is finding it so.
Johnny Dugdale beside him, down from Moss, and past Hinkley it goes out. It comes and running there as Arsiri. Stands it down towards the centre wing. Osborne is punched away by Allison. Past it goes Rendell, running in trouble fairly. Rendell tackles him well, and it has been a fierce tackling quarter. My word, what a good quarter it's been for German, and also Demetrio, number 29 and number 28. German's had 7 possessions this quarter. 12 for the match. Over it goes, well played Rendell. That was a beautiful palm towards Loken. Loken gets a kick and over the line it goes out of bounds on the full. Bad luck Bill Loken, and the free kick will go to North.
Error forced by the tackle of the smallest man on the ground, Mark Arsiri, just forward of the wing. Not much there for North, fairly in front, back at half forward now. Just about a throw. Steele doing some heavy work. Bad first quarter, but much better in the second. Here comes McCann. Gotcha. Giving Doothie a pretty tough time in this term. And this time he's a bit closer. He's only about 45 metres out. That's his 4th mark for the term. And this one should be a goal.
Yeah, well, he's only about 35 metres out where he'll be kicking from now, Steve McCann, and the previous passes I don't think Doothie could have done anything about, but he should have been a lot closer to him that time, spoiling.
Well, it's a lovely looking kick off the boot, but it's there. His second, 2-2 in this quarter to Steve McCann. And North Melbourne right in the ball game now, just 7 points down after trailing by 34 at the first change.
Here's McCann now. He's got a very big frame, Steve McCann, and he's providing a very good focal point on the North Melbourne forward line. He's moving around all the time and giving a target for the North Melbourne smaller running players.
Well, the move of the North Melbourne selectors to drop Stephen McCann and Peter German 2 weeks ago has worked brilliantly. They've come back full of fire and stung into retaliation 2 of the best players in the ground. Here's an opportunity now for a pick up there by Loken. But a free kick is going to be played to Armstrong. The advantage rule not played. Oh no, it's going to North Melbourne's John Law. Law sends it down towards centre half forward. Blakey's big lead, Darren Steele behind. Steve McCann leads in the race for the ball again. He'll give it towards Phil Cracker. Back it goes to McCann. McCann tries to shepherd. Cracker's got 2-1 against him and still gets the ball. Out wide it goes to Arsiri. Arsiri back and hooked over the back. In front, Roos, a gallant, courageous and brilliant mark by Paul Roos. Under pressure, supreme courage, out to McIver and back to Richard Osborne.
McIver again, kept on coming off the last line and hits Keane. Flush on the chest. That's a good-looking pass too to Loken. Looking for ground. Play on should be the call. Holt was looking for it, but no such call. Now Hinkley. And a bad kick. Just stayed in before pitching. Barwick, did he hold it in? Yes, he did. Lovely centering kick. Scott and Conlon. Conlon dangerous. Well tackled. Stevenson, who's playing very well in defence. And North out of trouble. German versus Pekin, but the ball beats them over the line.
Well, Doug Barwick, you deserve better than that. I thought Scott and also Conlon didn't do it very well. Did you, Bernie?
No, Mick, Scotty looked very slow lumbering towards that ball, but...
Mick almost gave it up, didn't chase on.
Yeah.
In comes the big fellows. Rendell gets it down, but it's German again who puts it down towards centre wing, and almost a mark picked up by Fairley. Fairley's hand pass not good. McIver out wide to Leon Harris. On it goes downfield, and it's Matt Rendell on to Kapler. Kapler can kick it a mile, and he does. He kicks it out, and Barwick from behind. Great mark. He had all the run, but he did it beautifully. And Douglas Barwick sends a short pass. Beautifully done too. And Barwick's been inspirational in these last few moments. And guess who? Paul Roos, Mr. Perfection as a footballer, takes the mark about 35 metres out. That's his 8th mark. And his 9th kick, and it's straight through the centre. And Fitzroy needed that one. North have won this quarter and won it well. And it took the skill of Barwick once again and the brilliance of Roos, who took a great mark in defence, and now downfield he took this one. There it is, Bernie.
Yeah, Kapler again, he's a good running player, Kapler. He kicks the ball long when he gets it too, and doesn't mess around with it.
Surprised to see Roos down there?
Well, I was. A minute ago he was taking that saving mark on the back line, and all of a sudden there he is leading on the forward line.
He knows where the goals are too. He played football at full forward in the early part of his career at Fitzroy. Wing initially, I think, and then to the key forward post. Schimmelbusch receives from the Fitzroy captain, Rendell. All courage needed there. Pekin, well tackled by Fairley, forces the error. And McRae to Arceri. Pass just too low for McCann. Steele, open goal. There's the answer. And that was far too easy. And I don't think David Parkin would be as happy as those young lads with the ease with which North got their 6th.
No, that was far too easy, Tim. A couple of times Fitzroy players have held onto the ball a little bit long. Scotty McIver there was the culprit. He should have got it either to his foot or handballed it a lot quicker than he did. He does tend to hang on to him a little bit long at times, Scotty. But fell into Steele's hands and has made the most of it.
A lovely open forward line that he's playing this quarter.
Yeah, that's exactly what Fitzroy had in the first quarter.
Yeah, all the space in the world this quarter with North Melbourne, and McCann, the focal point. Cracker doing his part as well as usual. Out wide towards the half-forward flank it goes with North in attack again. Richard Osborne on the flank. Picked up by Rendell. Don't like the hand pass much. Loken gets it a few metres downfield. An opportunity for Spargo back on the ground. He gets the ball, then hand passes out towards Steele. Thornton takes him on. Thornton with the ball. And it will be bounced in the centre wing position.
David Ackley on the sidelines and receiving some treatment to the leg. It's a blow to the North Melbourne defence. John Law, Holt to half forward, not much there for the Roos this time. Forward line a bit too open. Roos beats off Fairley. Osborne long beyond the centre. Law with courage and gusto. Smith, throw, not paid. McIver and Rendell collide. McIver looking for the ball up and eventually getting it on the centre line.
Well, there's only 7 points the difference as we're deep into time on. 27.5 minutes gone. North Melbourne, Fitzroy in front. Coming through very strongly is Thornton. Thornton had a good leap and a great mark. Conlon out wide to Armstrong, and he makes his first mistake and fumbles, and one fumble's too much in league football, and bad luck for Armstrong, and it'll be bounced from a good Darren Crocker tackle, but it's still Fitzroy in attack on the 50-metre line. In comes Mossop. Mossop in front of Keane. Keane fights for it. Law goes down, and so does number 48, Ken Hinkley, and there'll be yet another bounce.
I think Armstrong might have been a bit unlucky there. The handball could have been a bit better from Mick Conlon.
Great mark. It deserved a better cap-off. Mossop, a bit tall for Keane. McIver, spoiled by his teammate, I felt. Harris worked forward by the Lions, but the bell beats any ideas they had. Kicking a goal, and at half-time it's a real contest at VFL Park in front of 10,000 approximately. Fitzroy, by virtue of straighter kicking and a very good first quarter, 8-3, North 6-8. and the Fitzroy supporters can be reasonably happy that at least they've got the advantage. Their major goal kickers are Barwick and Conlon with 2. Roos, Armstrong, Loken and Osborne have 1 each. That's Richard Osborne. And for North, McCann 2. Singles to Holt, Fairley, Steele and Cracker. And Bernie Quinlan, what have you made of the first hour?
Yeah, well, it's been Fitzroy completely on top in the first quarter and North Melbourne completely on top in the second quarter. And I suppose a good thing for Fitzroy, and about the only good thing now at half-time, is that they're still in front because they're completely outplayed by North Melbourne in that quarter. As the scoreboard showed, Fitzroy only scored 1 goal, 1 for the quarter. So they had a very bleak time up on the forward line.
5-4 to North, incidentally.
5-4 to North, yes. The scoreboard says it all. They completely dominated. And I think a lot to do with it was Mossop in the ruck. He got on top of Rendell and knocked the ball out to the smaller players who ran it down to the forward line and ran it down there quickly where there was plenty of room for the forwards to make the most of their opportunities.
So at half-time, Fitzroy 8-3-51, North Melbourne 6-8-44.
8:30 Saturday Movie presents An Englishman Abroad. Actress Coral Brown's encounter with Russian spy Guy Burgess.
I know your face.
Craven egg for your throat's sake.
A chance meeting that develops into a delightful relationship.
Garlic?
No, thank you.
I love it.
Starring Alan Bates as Guy Burgess.
Now, tell me all the gossip. Charm, now. I always had charm. Sex needs language.
Oh, at least you found a friend.
But I don't know whether I found one or whether I've been allotted one.
What did you do in Moscow, darling? Nothing much. I measured Guy Burgess' inside leg. But we've sat here all afternoon pretending that spying, which is what you did, my darling, was just a minor social misdemeanor.
An Englishman Abroad. Directed by multi-award winner John Schlesinger. Your Saturday Movie, 8:30, here on ABC.
So at half-time, it's Fitzroy by 7 points, 8-3-51 to North Melbourne 6-8-44. Well, tomorrow at Moorabbin, the Saints have television match of the day status for the first time for many years, and they're pretty excited about it. John Waters reports.
St Kilda's home ground here at Moorabbin is the only VFL club ground in Melbourne's southern suburbs. The past few years have not been happy ones for the Saints, both on and off the field, particularly the club's financial situation, which almost saw their demise from the competition. But now things are different. Former champion player Darryl Baldock has returned to coach the Southern Saints. Another former great, Travis Pays, as chairman. Ian Drake is back at the helm as administrator. And this week the Saints are in the national televised match of the day against the Brisbane Bears, which raises the question. After so many years in the doldrums, when was the last time St Kilda was in the televised match of the day? We put that question to Chief Executive Ian Drake.
I wouldn't have a clue, John, but it's been a long while, I'll assure you of that.
You must be pretty pleased.
Yes, to be playing host to the Bears is great. And it's the first time, of course, that the Bears have played at Moorabbin. We're hoping we can make a good match of it.
Television or not, tomorrow's game is like any other for coach Darryl Baldock. Last time the Saints met the Bears in a practice match, only a point separated the teams. Will tomorrow be a different story?
Oh, it certainly is, and of course it's on our home ground, John, too, makes an enormous difference from our point of view. But no, the game in Brisbane or at the Bears' home ground was extremely good.
Well, tomorrow's game, there are some new faces in the St Kilda side, and of course our national audience may not know a lot of them. Who should we be looking for?
Well, I think the most exciting player to watch at the moment because of his marking strength is Stewie Lowy. He's played extremely well. I think he's taken 12 marks the last couple of weeks. He's a very exciting player. Ricky Winmar is a very talented young half-forward coming from Western Australia, having his first season. We have Tony Lockett, of course, only 20. He's our deputy vice-captain. He's a very strong mark, Tony. He has enormous future in football, in my view. But there's a lot of boys there. The David Willey on the half-back flank. The other young fellow by the name of Dean Rice. He's a very good player, very talented, only 17, 18. So, you know, the basis of the side is very young, and we have a sprinkling of older players with them.
And finally, as a service to our commentators for tomorrow's game, this is where you'll be sitting. Just come in straight through the main gate, up the flight of stairs to the top level, and there you will be.
The inimitable John Waters reporting, and that match from Moorabbin, along with the Footscray Carlton clash at the Western Oval, our feature matches in Football Grandstand at 4:40 tomorrow evening. So all set for the second half. Fitzroy going from left to right, where 12 of the 14 goals in the match have been scored so far. And they want to make the most of it in this third term. Doesn't seem to be a windy night, but certainly the bulk of the scoring done at one particular end. Umpire Castle calling for another ball up after a crush. And again, it's Rendell and Mossop. Rendell favoured by that one. And a decisive victory. But straight to Arsiri. Poor kick. Loken put the Roys into attack.
Oh, well, he made pace that time. That was a wonderful pace by Loken. Back it goes. Mossop in front position. Mossop doesn't hold it long enough. Plays on. He's tackled when not in possession and will take a free kick. And John Mossop, after a good game last week, a very poor one first up, gets it across to Crocker. Crocker sends it out towards centre wing position. Nobody wants to go for that one. Blakey behind the pack, kicks it under pressure. Armstrong fights for it out towards the boundary line, gets it back into play, but it was too late. Out of bounds. Fitzroy in attack on the half-forward flank on the outer side.
North Melbourne have commenced each of the quarters so far with an early goal. They haven't been into attack in the first 70 seconds of this one. The Roys are deep, though. Here's Conlon. He's missed. Just gets it behind. Fitzroy's fourth only. They lead by 8 points.
Is Conlon the sort of player that sometimes the team is very disappointed in, was his lack of ability to hand pass quickly, Bernie?
It's an area that Mick used to be very weak on, but he did work on his game last year a lot, and his handball did come into play.
Very clever play, Dwyer, out to Crocker. Dwyer again. He's a magical player in form. Cleverly out to Schimmelbusch, to Demetrio, who's been a solid contester, down towards the half-forward line, over the back from Steele, beaten by Thornton. Thornton centres it to Harris. Harris was almost off, gives it across to McIver. McIver's a long kick and drives it out. Lovely kick it was too. Taken over there very, very nicely by Armstrong.
Would have been play on there, I thought, Doug.
He could have easily, yes. Lovely kick. Oh, a beautiful pass. And certainly this is the end, but both teams have looked so impressive. And there's been some enormous kicking from McCann and Barwick, and Bill Loken kicked a very big one, all down at this scoreboard end, or the non-scoreboard end, actually. Let's watch now Douglas Barwick.
I think Bernie would fancy him from this distance.
Who's about 45, almost 50 metres out, makes the distance, makes the accuracy, and kicks his own third goal.
Yes, there's no worries about the distance there with Doug. It's only the accuracy, and he doesn't miss many really from 40, 45 metres out. Just looking at the flag on top of the outer over there, it seems to be favouring this end rather strongly now, the wind. So not much breeze up here, but there must be a fair bit out on the ground.
There it comes again now.
Here's Armstrong. I thought the umpire could have called play on there when he went to, he feinted the handball.
Lovely delivery first by McIver to hit Armstrong, and there's the lead from Barwick. Away to the left of frame, and perfect pass.
His opponent was a good 10, 15 metres away from him.
That's an important goal. Fitzroy by 14 points. Harris kicks the ball into his own man. Arsiri, great contester, the little man. Tackled high by another little one in Harris. Both got giant hearts. And Arsiri takes the free. Quick pass, doesn't gain any ground with his 12th kick. Mossop has to unload in a hurry. Loken. Ruse. 18 possessions to the champ. And now the skipper, Rendell, just backward of the centre line. Ruse has been best and fairest in the last 2 years, and Rendell in 82, 83. Crocker, good, well-balanced mark despite a bit of a nudge from Keane.
Number 27, a very famous number at North Melbourne, is worn by Keith Gregg. And Crocker wearing it with distinction. Blakey in front. Siri fights for it, so does Demetrio. Out it comes to McIver. McIver with his left foot, and well manoeuvred is Barwick. An unlucky bounce. Battling with him is Spargo. Good play, Keane. Keane's awkward, and it's bouncing through. That was the luckiest goal that I've seen from many, many a long goal. You wouldn't believe it. It bounced on and on and on, and Keane, when he kicked it, was almost on the boundary line, that indicating how severe the angle was. Here it is.
Yeah, well, luck's a fortune, isn't it, Doug? Really, Keane didn't even line up the goals. He was just lucky to get it onto his boot very quickly and got a very favourable bounce. There he is now, picks it up, didn't even look at the goals, just happy to get it onto his boot. Had a lovely little leg break on it and ran through.
That's a miracle. So, Fitzroy with 2 goals to start the term in 5 minutes, leading by 20 points. It's a good break. Dwyer, Arsiri, Demetrio there to assist. Well, got to be a free kick. Never in possession of the ball, and Richard Osborne brought him down in no uncertain manner. Kicks from about 65 metres out. Plenty of defenders up. Pekin, Ruse. So much time. That ball hit him before he knew it was onto him, and yet he still recovered it. Thornton to Loken to Conlon, and away he goes. 60 metres out, and he doesn't look for a teammate. He goes all the way. Conlon gets his 3rd, and Fitzroy running riot again. 3 goals in 6 minutes, and they lead by 26 points at the 6-minute mark of the 3rd term.
Yes, after being very evenly balanced at half-time, this is a very important part of the game now, and Fitzroy have got the jump on North Melbourne. They're running the ball well out of the back line. Conlon takes a nice mark. His opponent was off balance. Away he goes. He kicked it from a good 55, 60 metres out, and the wind must be definitely favouring the end Fitzroy's kicking to.
That's his 350th goal in league football too, Bernie, so that's a great effort as German gets it out of the centre. Nicely picked up and on to Graham Osborne. Graham Osborne downfield. Johnny Law in front. Took 2 bites at what had only been 1, but still took the mark. Yes, Conlon played 185 games, that is including today, kicked 350 goals. Down to the centre of the ground it goes. Nice football there by Holt. In front McCann. Awkward bounce favours Thornton. Thornton foot to ball very quickly. Out to Graham Osborne. He's got a long hand pass across this clever football. And on from Mackay-Bruce Butte. Richard Osborne goes the run. Sends it straight to Law, who takes another juggling mark.
Very good mark. It was an awkwardly curling ball. He really had to work hard to hold onto it. From half-back with North in trouble, down by 26 points. Dwyer had to fly against the big ones and did well, but the Roys recapture it. Keane from behind was the leaper. Spargo, well smothered. Now it's Fitzroy tackling harder, and Conlon was the man doing the heavy work then. And they're doing the things that North were doing in the 2nd quarter.
Lovely football. Beautiful interception by Pekin just before it when he pushed the ball away. In comes Keane and battles with Mossop, taken by Armstrong. Armstrong kicks out wide to Loken. Loken looks for a long hand pass to Rendell. Rendell goes downfield and kicks it very badly. Scott gets it nicely, turns and gets it across to Leon Harris. Harris out wide, and you're in trouble, look out. And Hinckley's too slow. Leon Harris battles through, hooks it back towards centre half forward. Underneath it, a good leap, and here he comes again. And Barwick puts it through. A magnificent snap goal. And Douglas Barwick enjoyed that one. He's jumping up and down. And what a beautiful goal from Barwick. He's really proving himself a find. He's kicked 10 goals in 2 matches, and 4 today. That's 14.
Yeah, good battling stuff by Leon Harris to get the ball down to the forward line. Rendell had to sit. Flies with a big pack of players. The North Melbourne player was in the box seat, but Barwick chipped in and kicked a magnificent goal on the run.
They've done well from Tasmania, the Roys, with Barwick.
They have. They've recruited
Hinchin,
very well.
Clayton, Armstrong in this match. And 9 minutes into the quarter, Fitzroy have slammed on 4 goals and kicked away to what might be a match-winning lead. Holt under pressure. So's Demetrio. Sandwiched. Dwyer. Well delivered. Good tackle on German. And German, who looked so good in the first half, looks like a man who suddenly has lost his confidence. And a throw in on the wing, but that's what pressure does.
Yes, he had a super 2nd quarter in particular, did German. Mossop does it pretty nicely again. McRae in lots of trouble. German right on the boundary line, kicks it out of bounds, and the free kick will go to Fitzroy on half-back flank. Over the immaculate Mr. Ruse, the hero of the Fitzroy lineup. The umpire says, no, you can't have it, Paul. You've had enough kicks. We'll give it to Richard Osborne. And Ruse, the top possession getter on the ground. Osborne kicks a thumping 70-metre one. A good punch over the line there from Ross Smith. It's out of bounds. Fitzroy's half-forward flank.
That's not the play they really need, though, Duck. Those long bombs down to the forward line don't really give the forwards much of a chance.
32 points the margin. Mossop doing his share of holding. Crocker back to the wing. German fairly well pressured again, forcing a poor kick. And Rendell, great mark. Richard Osborne back whence it came. Everyone up. Best to recover Keane. Bad hand pass. Stopped Ruse in his tracks. Pekin. Fitzroy at the ball in numbers. Armstrong, big left footer. Oh, a bit of a nudge. No free kick, and Scott has the mark. 35 metres out. Bit lucky.
Well, Tim, there was definitely a slight nudge there where the umpire judged it to be severe enough to pay a free kick. Well, obviously he didn't, but here it is. Scotty's got the shot for goal.
The left footer, the lanky left footer, is inaccurate.
And most unlike Mark Scott too, because he's an excellent shot for goal and rarely misses.
Might be a bit of justice there. To say it was a slight nudge, Byrne, I think it was a fairly strong one, actually.
Well, it's the full forwards club. They stick together.
Don't blame them. They get most against them, I guess. Crocker, excellent mark. Ross Smith gets away from Richard Osborne, sends it long out towards Fairley. Ruse there punches away from him. Lovely anticipation by Blakey, but lost the run of it. Fighting for it was Fairley. All Fitzroy again through McIver. Out to Ruse. Ruse dodges them all on hand passes. Absolutely beautifully to Pekin. Pekin to Richard Osborne. Sends it long looking for Scott. Over the back it goes, and Scott was pushed out. And Scott gets the free kick. And there's some North Melbourne supporters who think there ain't any justice around.
Well, Mark Scott made sure the umpire saw it too. He did the old Bob Johnson. I can even remember him, Doug, when he used to take those guys.
There's no one better than big long Bob than lurking in the pocket and coming out as if he'd been pushed in the back by a 6-ton truck. In comes Scotty, sends for goal with a left footer that looks pretty good. No, just off direction again. And Mark Scott, who I think started football as a full forward, is not showing any full forward finesse in kicking for goal. 12-6 to 6-8.
And those two could have been really handy for Fitzroy.
A great football god ruled in North Melbourne's favour. Steele tackled high and gets a free. On the half-back line, Darren Steele very quiet in the first quarter. Better in the second, as were most of his teammates. But they're struggling at the moment. Oh, he puts Crocker under immense pressure. He gets a free kick. Luckily, against Thornton for a high tackle, and it looks as though it certainly was there, because that hurt. And the fresh-faced youngster, who does so well to hold down centre-half back, takes his 8th kick. Mossop, he did some nudging though, and he'll lose it. It's taken off him.
He's got to hurry up too.
And Keane takes it on the centre line, and Fitzroy mounting another attack. Scott from behind got the hands on it. Oh, bad bounce for Shimmer. Pressure from Scott and from Armstrong. And a throw-in. Forward pocket for the Roys, who aren't letting it out of their attacking half. And their supporters are loving it.
They'll need the lead. They're kicking enormous distances, which indicates what you said, Bernie. The wind is quite strong down there. The kicking is prodigious with this breeze. Mossop looks for free. Umpire says play on. The free is the advantage for Spargo. Up goes Ruse and takes a beautiful mark again. That's his 9th mark, Paul Ruse. Delivers to perfection as usual. Out it goes to Keane. Keane gives it back to Ruse, and off he goes. Sends it down towards the full forward zone. Mossop in front. Scott combats him. Mossop plays on very strongly. Kicks it very high. Blakey underneath it goes for the punch. Punches it downfield through the legs of a Fitzroy player. And nobody can break away, and eventually it's picked up and driven out by Schimmelbusch. Here comes Dwyer and Demetrio. Demetrio hugs the boundary line with that left footer and did it pretty well. German looks pretty slow trying to make up ground, and Thornton's first over the line.
There's one of the not so well populated sections of VFL Park. There are others which are a bit more populous. Rendell beats McCann. McIver, Harris, well done off the ground, 40 metres of it. Crocker, Mossop, Schimmelbusch, Steele on the centre line, and Law up to Phil Cracker. Oh, well played, Hinchin, but Cracker is just so good. Allison from a long way, he's off direction. And when North Melbourne badly needed a goal, he gives them a behind. Their first score of the quarter, and that took 15.5 minutes.
As usual, it was going to go to Roos and then short to Pekin, which was good football. Pekin then drives on the Roos direction. Ackley comes out to take him on. Now it's Law, and Law's very content to just push it over the line. It's out of bounds in centre wing position. But Roos is the focal point. Any time Fitzroy players can see the opportunity to boot it his way, and not often does he disappoint them. He's taken 9 very fine marks tonight. Up goes Keane, gets it down nicely. Well picked up Demetrio, runs into a strong tackle, kicked off the ground by Stevenson. And there's some arms and bodies and legs and bodies falling all over the ball, and it'll be another bounce.
And there's Tim Pekin getting up off the bottom of the pack, and he's been a very good player for Fitzroy.
McCann wins, but not accurately. Harris back to half forward. Mossop kick behind the play there, not doing the ruck work. Perhaps they've decided to have him lurk back in defence as an extra man, kicking into the wind. No free there for holding the man. None for a push in the back, and finally a ball up. The scoring, incidentally, 16 goals to 2. 16 at that scoring end to 2 at the other end. Now that's an average of a good 5 per quarter to less than 1 per quarter at the non-scoring end. So the margin not a match-winning one yet.
Yes, it was 5-4 to 1-1 in the last quarter when North Melbourne did it all with the breeze. Strong play, Law. On the boundary line was pushed. Gets it down, Leon Harris. Drives it straight to Mossop. Had to kick quickly, nobody there. Mossop then puts it back in the Leon Harris direction, and the mark is taken by the little man. Gets it across to Thornton. Thornton will send it long, looking for Scott. Scott in position, good mark. Too big and too strong for Crocker. And he really didn't push and shove that time. He used all his bulk to perfection, and Mark Scott takes a very telling mark. He's kicked 2 points in this term, and I don't think there's much doubt that he'll register this one for the Lions. It'll be his first goal, and the Lions 13th at the 17.5-minute mark of the third term. But the match is still wide open. He's pretty pleased with that one, Bernie.
Leon Harris again. He's got the ball moving out of the centre line, down to Ross Thornton. And what a long kick today. That wind must be fairly strong. And Mark Scott, that's probably where he excels most, in the body one-on-one sort of situation where he can use his strength and big frame to lean against his opponent and take the mark.
39 points. It might be still open, Doug, but if they kick another couple in this quarter, it's just about closed. And Parkin must be very pleased with the Roy's effort. 5 goals to 1 behind in this term. 39-point lead, and Rendell wins again. Steele, as North badly need 1 or 2 to get some momentum. Graham Osborne, he's done well in this term. To half forward, Schimmelbusch having his hands full with Conlon. Law from behind the wing puts North into attack for one of the rare occasions in the quarter. And the throw-in to take place about 90 metres from goal, so a long way to go. And Jimmy Cracker serving out the second week and last of his period of suspension. He's looking forward to getting back to try and assist the ailing Kangaroos.
What a soulful look from James Cracker, the best and fairest of their last year. Wonderful smother again. It was Pekin, and he's tackled Arceri and tackled him strongly. Incidentally, I noticed Paul Roos has got yet another opponent. Steve McCann's now at centre half forward. And And Ruse is the stumbling block for nearly every team that ever plays against Fitzroy. At centre half-back, he's football perfection. Up goes McCann, nicely pushed over by Graham Osborne. Fitzroy's half-forward flank and Fitzroy, North Melbourne's half-forward flank. Fitzroy are 13-6 to North Melbourne 6-9.
McCann held his own against Rendell. Oh, good bump by Ross Smith. Lets in Arceri, and that was a beauty which left the victim sprawled on the turf and not moving. Thornton clears the ball. Oh, great leap by Richard Osborne, and wins the ball to Harris in superb style. And the Roys have got something going. Loken from 50 metres. Good-looking kick. Can't go much closer. And Doug Barwick, who's kicked 4, had a sniff of his 5th. But Loken's kick just carried too far and missed by centimetres. Fitzroy's 14th goal.
He could have run on further too, Bill Loken. I don't know why he didn't. Out it goes to Spargo. Spargo downfield, a good spoil there by Keane against Allison. Here comes German. German then hand passes out towards Steele. Back it goes to German. German on the boundary line looks for the half-forward McCann. McCann and Ruse fight for it, and coming Fitzroy players everywhere, but the ball beats them over the line. It's out of bounds on that outer half-forward flank where we've seen it bottled up a bit.
21 minutes gone. 5 goals to none. Fitzroy's way in this term. McCann. McIver. Well tackled. Penalised. Free kick to McRae. Between wing and half forward. And North would give just about anything for a goal right now. But Ruse just won't let it past. However, his kick falls into the arms of Schimmelbusch. 15 metres his way. Brings him into the attacking half. Kennedy speechless. And Schimmer goes a little indirectly out towards the flank. Thornton. Pekin. The immaculate one, Ruse to Harris. Back into attack. Barwick beat off Spargo in mercurial fashion. Loken again. And here go the Lions once more. Not such a good kick. Hinckley running onto it, one of their few quiet ones. Parkin's shown faith in him all night, but not much he could do there.
No, Kent's had a very quiet night, but I thought Billy Loken probably could have done a little bit more than he did with that kick.
Yes, he seemed to be just kicking to space, but I couldn't quite understand what his plan was, Bernie. Mossop won this one very well. Out towards Crocker. Crocker boots it to centre wing position. In front, it's all North Melbourne. John Holt had a quiet time, hasn't seen much of the ball. This man's seen a hell of a lot of the ball. His name is Paul Ruse, mark number 10. Steve McCann, his opponent.
3 Brownlow votes tonight, perhaps.
I think a big chance, yeah. Over the back it goes. Harris goes bustling after it, gives it to Rendell. Rendell then kicks it downfield looking for Conlon. Conlon almost took a very good one. Picked up and driven down by Dwyer. Underneath it, Rendell again, but he let his own teammate go. That was good football, and the mark is nicely taken by the clever Thornton.
My word, there was a trainer who was almost sandwiched by 5 players flying for that mark, and he was scurrying for cover. Thornton to half forward. Armstrong slid the tackle, which made it high. I think he's a bit lucky. He's outside 50 metres, a good 60 from goal. Tremendous first quarter. He's had a dozen kicks, and he's a lovely long kick. Long distance. My word, it was just offline. I'm not sure whether that was touched, and it almost off break through for a goal.
I think Mossop missed that altogether. So if it had been accurate, it would have been through for a 6-pointer.
Hinckley off the ground now.
Out to Spargo. There's no doubt that Armstrong's got that precious ingredient, got wonderful pace. I think he'll be a player. Spargo down to centre wing position. In front is Holmes. Tackling him is Pekin. Well played, Holmes. It's hard to get around Pekin. Holmes do to downfield to Richard Osborne. No, it's Graham Osborne. John Holt. Very fine mark by Graham Osborne. Underneath it is Law. Thornton takes him on beautifully with courage. Oh, good play. Through comes Hinchin. Hinchin drives downfield looking for Scott, but Crocker's in front of him, but the ball will beat him over the line out of bounds. And Hinchin is a very courageous and a very good player for Fitzroy.
Darren Crocker just throwing the ball away there, taking a bit of a risk, tempting fate. No action from the umpire. Mossop the knock, but straight to Harris. Great snap! That is a great goal. And they've kicked some beauties in this third quarter, but none better. And the margin now 47 points. And it would take a very good team to come back and win from there, even with the win.
Well done, there's Mossop.
Yeah, Leon Harris rode very well there. He knows where the goals are, Leon. Pretty much the same as Bernie Harris's brother. And an excellent snap. Let's open up a big lead for Fitzroy now. And North Melbourne would do well if they can get back into the game from here.
Back at centre bounce. Mossop and Rendell. Rendell wins it. Steele comes in, taken away from him. Rendell kicks off the ground. In front, Schimmelbusch. Beautiful pick up that time by Law. Out wide it goes to Spargo. Spargo looks for Arsieri. Arsieri, who's got a wonderful pair of hands for a little man, marks very well. Takes another mark, sends it downfield. In front, Graham Osborne looking very good. Played on what he should have gone back. Bill Loken, nice football. Straight to Schimmelbusch, and Captain Courageous takes it well.
Tremendous courage. In fact, there was no one there, but you're not to know that when you're backing back. The kidneys are very vulnerable. German, free kick. Just behind the wing. 26 minutes gone in the quarter. Fitzroy's quarter, 6 goals to none. Ruse again, supreme. Steele, trip, free kick. True centre wing. And North absolutely must get a goal before three-quarter time, I believe, to have a chance of winning it. Poor kick, up and down almost on the one spot, and Paul Ruse loves those.
Mark number 11, kick number 16. Got the perfect ability to know when to go for the mark and when to spoil. Sends it very long downfield. Mossop front position, pushed out, I thought. Umpire agrees, and the free kick goes to John Mossop. High in the air, another battle. Ruse from behind, punches it away from McCann. In front is Steele. German. Awkward bounce. Graham Osborne, been a very capable player in his third term, played Arsieri. Pulled when not in possession, pulled again. And I would think it must be a free kick to Arsieri. And the tiny man, with tons of talent, comes in for his 16th kick, wide out on the outside half-forward flank.
Much too far out to score, one would imagine, into the breeze. They're kicking them from the 50-metre line at the other end, so interesting to make a comparison here. He kicks from a metre outside and lands about 7 or 8 short. And that's North Melbourne's second score for the quarter. They've kicked 2 minors, and in the meantime, Fitzroy have kicked 6 goals 5 to take a stranglehold.
There's another South Australian in Doothing. Bill Loken, a South Australian, who served Fitzroy so well. Over the top it goes. Pekin. Holmes. Pekin slips at the crucial moment. Holmes is tripped. A professional one. They're pulling back into line. He'll have to come back and take his free kick. Off he goes. Umpire says no, go back and take the kick at the point where it was awarded. Dale Holmes kicking into the breeze, and it doesn't go very far. Great leap from behind by Osborne. Underneath at Loken. Out to Thornton. He's thumped down. Underneath at Conlon. Chansford bounces favourably for Mickey. Oh, could have been against you, Schimmelbusch. Out to Loken, on to Pekin is brilliant. Pekin across it goes, the lovely pass. There's the siren. And at three-quarter time, Fitzroy 14 goals, 892, are leading North Melbourne 6-10-46.
Barwick 4 goals, 2 in that quarter. Conlon 3. And singles to Ruse, Armstrong, Loken, Scott, Keane, Harris and Richard Osborne for the Roys. And for North Melbourne, well, it hasn't changed since half-time, and that explains the glum look. McCann has 2, Holt, Fairley, Steele and Cracker have singles. And at three-quarter time, it looks very much like a Fitzroy victory. They'll have to withstand North coming home with the win. The margin, 46 points. Fitzroy 14-8. North Melbourne 6-10.
The laughter starts at 8 o'clock Monday with Faulty Towers.
A double, is it? We'd like a double.
2 singles, dear. Not married. Now, since coming here from Spain, leaving my mother... Outside. Okay, outside. Thank you. It's the public
And
will.
at 8:30, more ministerial mischief in Yes, Minister.
The people are ignorant and misguided.
After it was the people who elected me. Ministers are not experts. They're chosen expressly because they know nothing.
The very best in comedy, 8 o'clock Monday on ABC.
Well, Fitzroy 7 goals in the first quarter, North Melbourne 5 in the second, and then Fitzroy 6 in the third, with only 2 goals being kicked at the non-scoring end, and the Roos coming home with the advantage in the last term. But their score is doubled at three-quarter time, 92-46, and that's a huge margin to make up. Very difficult to cut down an 8-goal advantage. They'd have to have the biggest scoring quarter of the match. Barwick 4 of Fitzroy's, and Connellan 3. They've got 7 out of the 14 between them, and Steve McCann the only one with more than a single for North Melbourne, having kicked 2 in North's good second quarter. Final term, North Melbourne going from left to right with the aid of the wind and requiring a monumental effort to overturn a 46-point deficit. And John Mossop gives them a good start with a decisive thump, but a push in the back by Peter German gives the free kick to Blakey. And Fitzroy will have first use of the ball in the last term. Lions and the Roos both with 1 win in the first 2 weeks. And it looks like Fitzroy notching up their second, but a way to go yet. Graham Osborne, fine third quarter after coming off the interchange. His brother Richard, the chance. Allison, good tackle from Osborne. And Allison contesting hard, finally forcing a ball up.
And the breeze has freshened. It's even stronger now. It's its strongest for the night, so the task is not impossible. It's highly improbable at this stage, but it's a very, very firm assisting breeze. There's the flags waving at the top of VFL Park. Here comes Crocker. Crocker down to centre wing. Guess who's front? Roos. His new opponent is Fairley, or Fairley for about the third time. Picked up there and driven downfield by Smith. Underneath it, a great effort by Holmes. Blakey again kicks them out of danger. Taken nicely by Schimmelbusch. He's got lots of time to give it out to Phil Cracker. Back to Schimmelbusch. He's about the 50-metre mark as he kicks for goal. Underneath it, Hinchin, and he's quite content to let it go through for one behind. Thought he could have taken that mark, and he almost made an error of judgment.
Yes. Tremendous hand pass by Cracker then to Schimmelbusch.
Yes, that's right. They're fantastic when they're running, North Melbourne.
Duthie places that beautifully. Thornton, Pekin to the wing. Big leap from Allison, but to no effect. Loken, good player. Richard Osborne. Danger here for North. Keane. At half forward, but a long way from goal. 60 metres out into the wind. Well placed. Barwick. Inside 50 metres. But even for the long kicking, Douglas Barwick, a testing shot. Now this will be a really interesting one. Where's your money, Bernie?
I'd say make the distance here, Tim.
He's kicked 4, and I think this might just about break North Melbourne's spirit. From 45. We'll pay you an even money for that. Went 5-1 had he got the goal.
You'll never get it. You'll never see it, Ben, I warn you. Well, out of bounds, and it's a long time since we've seen a half-forward flank. Takes it, turns away, he can give it out to Graham Osborne, which he does. Gives a long running lead and takes a splendid mark. And here's Barwick. Barwick picks up and misses.
Well, there's a hamstring.
And is it always a hamstring or the cramp?
No, he's okay, I think. He's had a couple of chances to seal the match, though, Doug. Barwick in the first few minutes of the last quarter.
Sure as a dynamo.
Allison. North have got to move it long and directly. Crocker. Well, that's not terribly direct. Dwyer held. Free kick to the neat wingman, who's had a pretty good night tonight. Holmes in front. Crocker again. Fitzroy there in numbers. Conlon explodes. Scott. Stevenson for North. Cumbersome. Helped on his way by Richard Osborne. And a throw in the forward pocket for Fitzroy. 10,043 people here at the start of round 3. And it looks as though they're going to see a Fitzroy victory.
John Mossop against Mark Scott. Mossop won it very easily, then looked to hand pass and couldn't find anybody. Barwick dived at it. Mossop then tumbled on top of Barwick, actually. And we'll find umpire Ross Castle will bounce it again. John Mossop looking around, hasn't got any feel for where his rovers are at all. Down it comes towards Smith. Picked up by Spargo. Left footer comes downfield from Allison. In front, the mark is nicely taken by Demetrio. Faded out in the third term. Played a good first half, did Andrew. 15-metre against Graham Osborne. Demetrio to the centre of the ground. Oh, Allison, you're a bit slow there. Plenty of time here for Crocker. Tries to get it across to Dwyer. Taken away from him. Now he's got the chance and breaks away. Hand passes back to Demetrio. His kick is smothered. Well played, Fitzroy. Diving on it, Loken. And another North Melbourne attack thwarted by very strong defensive football.
Pats on the back for Ross Thornton. Diving across the boot when a strong attack looked to be forthcoming. And Fitzroy's method fairly clear in this last quarter. Grapple, tackle, block, check. And they're doing it nicely in the first 6 minutes. Fairly a good palm, but no one there for it. Ruse. Fairly again. Line kick. Oh, collision. Danger. Holmes. McCann, but oh, good defence again. Duthie. Full of desperation, forcing the throw-in.
My word, Hinchin's never heard of fear.
He's a new Norfolk boy, and they're pretty tough out that way, Douglas.
Because they can't spell down there. In comes Steve McCann to do battle with Rendell. Rendell won it very easily. Out to Blake, out to Armstrong. Armstrong very wide. The chances there for Brett Stevens has had a pretty miserable night. Ross Smith is running in away from him and eventually pushes it over the line out of bounds. Centre wing position, all saving time for the leading Fitzroy. 6.5 minutes gone in the final term.
Just one behind to each team. North making no impact at all. Mossop nicely to Demetrio, but can't afford that one fumble. And a ball up results when the chance was there for a breakaway. There's a nice bit of ruck work from the ginger-haired Mossop from the wine-growing country out near Coonawarra. Great interception, McIver. Richard Osborne. Nothing there for Fitzroy, but the boundary line will do. And that's what they've got, courtesy of a fumble from Stevenson.
Yes, with Crocker there to assist him. They had a wonderful chance, and there's a puzzled, bemused John Kennedy, the man with the largest voice in league football. Mossop in front. He's striven valiantly. Steele might have given away a free. Kicked off the ground by Harris. His kick landed over the white line. And the free kick, or was it over? No, the boundary umpire said no, it wasn't. So it'll be thrown in on the outer half forward flank with Fitzroy in attack and kicking into the breeze.
46 points the margin. And a very poor start to this quarter from North Melbourne. Oh, there's a high tackle. Darren Steele takes the free. Between back pocket and half back. 10th kick only. Goes long. But again, along that wing, they're not centering the ball. Armstrong. Ruse. Well played. Armstrong. Puts Fitzroy into attack. Keane. Loken. Barwick the target. Spargo wearing him, but well done, Barwick. Law. North on the defensive when they really should be attacking. Keane, a great second grabber. His opponent, Arceri, is the smallest out there, but good ball control by Keane. Loken. Thornton up from defence now. Good centering pass. Scott, 30 metres out and even into the wind. This is a great scoring opportunity. And Fitzroy dominating this final quarter against the flow of the game.
Unusual habit to throw the ball to the ground and be picked up by the man who gave it to him, Thornton, so well.
Sea of streamers, hoping to disconcert Scott. Going for his second, and that's a good kick. And so it's all over now. Fitzroy have kicked the first goal of the quarter at the 9.5-minute mark, and they lead by 52 points.
It's a good play from Billy Loken, gets a handball over to Ross Thornton. A couple of North Melbourne players converged on him, but he kept a cool head. And an excellent pass to Mark Scott, who made a good lead.
David Parkin must feel very confident because he's just taken Barwick off the ground, and he'll obviously just a little bit worried about that leg injury from his star forward, and thinks the lead is big enough, I guess. He can always bring him back. There's McIver fighting for it. Oh, to cross it goes towards Richard Osman. Played a good term here. Awkward bounce, unlucky bounce for Crocker. Out to Law. Law's got lots of time to send it downfield. Holmes and Graham Osman, and Graham Osman looks good. Bernie Quinlan said this to me last week. He said the young brother can play as well, and certainly he's been very good. Ruse for his 28th possession. Sends it out towards centre wing position. Nice mark in front, taken by Stevens. Stevens about centre wing position. Out it goes to Ruse, who's working towards his 30 possessions. In front, not a good effort by Scott. Leon Harris looks to give a hand pass. Cross it goes to Pekin. This might be a goal, I think. Ken Hinkley. That's one that we could have kicked ourselves. Lovely cooperative team football from Fitzroy.
Yeah, great stuff, Fitzroy forwards. Probably three players could have raffled it there, and in the end they made sure of it with a long handball over to the goal square. Leon Harris, he probably could have had a shot for goal. Look for Tim Pekin. Tim Pekin always wanted to give a handball on over to Ken Hinkley. And that's just about the sealer, I'd say, gentlemen.
Yes. All over bar the shouting, I think. Doug Barwick can go for a shower.
He's warming up again. He's got the chance of kicking his third bag of 5, and he probably doesn't want to miss out. Doesn't mind a goal, Bernie.
No, he's a great player, Doug Barwick.
58 points the margin. At half-time it was 7, and in the second half Fitzroy have kicked 8 goals and the Roos have not kicked 1. Mossop to half-forward, but speaking of Roos, this one has just about taken on the 18 that are in blue and white, and he's won. Thornton. Free kick. It's against John Law for infringing on Leon Harris. And Harris take it, his last visit to this ground.
Surely he could have let advantage go there, Tim. No reason to pull that back, surely.
13th kick to Harris. I was about to say his last trip here for a day game, or a game for not premiership points, but a real game as opposed to one in the night competition. Was a bad one for him when he was reported, suspended, and missed the preliminary final.
Nice leap by Crocker there in front of Keane, who's a good mark. Keane took 10 marks for Fitzroy last week, which is a big assignment. Very good kick of Crocker's centering, looking for Fairley. Fairley from behind took it. Two strong opponents. First time that Paul Roos has been outmarked. He chose not to,
a share of it too.
Chose not to punch. Yes, I think he does too. Out wide it goes, looking for Stephen McCann. Whoa! Strong bump. Nice play, Doothing. Out to Hinchin. Hinchin can go on and on and on. Nobody coming to meet him. He can keep on going. Doesn't do it. Kicks it long. Right downfield, and running with the flight of the ball is Richard Osman. Tackled by Law. Picked up nicely there by Smith. Then he kicks it back towards centre wing position. McIver's got the run of it. Demetrio loses it. Arceri tackled when not in possession. And the free kick will go to the little man about centre wing position, outer side of the ground, not to Sol to kick to. Nobody with inside, so he kicked it straight to Roos. Well played fairly to spoil him from the side. David Dwyer. Dwyer down the full forward zone. Steve McCann's behind and marks. Misses it. Goes on. Gets a beaut bounce. Twists and turns. Left foot snap. Hooks it through. Well played, Stephen. That's his third. And there's a lot of bulk there, but for the bulk, there's a lot of agility and athleticism. Well played for Cam.
Yeah, he made a bit of heavy work of it in the end, Doug, because his Dwyer's kick again, yeah, he was in good position to take the mark. He completely put Duthie out of business. And in the end, he misjudged it rather badly, but he was good enough to recover and swing around on that left foot.
The old one we used to say butterfingers if you missed them like that.
14 minutes gone, and that's North's first goal since before half-time. Arceri, missed by Fairley. McCann again. A lot of pressure. Gone. McIver. Loken. And Fitzroy putting it together just so much better. Stevenson, the spoiler. Conlon looking for his fourth. High tackle. No. Looked high to me. And it looks even higher the way he's holding his head. Richard Osborne. Was he held? No, he wasn't. Stevens. Stevens again. And this doesn't look too good for North because Paul Roos drifting up the ground. See Scott.
Just going back to that Mick Conlon incident, that's the same thing as we saw last week when Brian Wilson had his head down over the ball and he was bumped rather severely as we saw him was carried off. I think the umpires must look at this situation where the player has got his head over the ball and the opposition player comes in and bumps him and hits him in the head, which is rather dangerous.
Good kick from Scott. And that move of Parkins during the third term to bring him into the action has really paid off in spades. He's kicked 3 goals and Fitzroy just marching away with this one.
That bump would have hurt too, Bernie. That was John Law, who's one of the best, I suppose the best man in delivering a bump in the league.
I can't work out why they don't pay that.
Yes, I agree with you entirely. It's dangerous.
Here's Mick again with his head down over the ball. Oh, yes.
I'm sorry, it was Smith. I thought it was Johnny Law.
It was Smith, and if that wasn't worth a free kick, I'll go E for Tiggy.
It was Smith who ran into Brian Wilson.
Yeah, that's right.
In the centre of the ground, out wide open spaces, and streaming after it is Conlon again. Looks for a hand pass and did it very well, and slick play Keane. On to Matthew Armstrong from about 60 metres out, centres it, and not a good leap there by Stevens, picked up by Smith. Off it goes to Dwyer. Dwyer kicks it out towards centre wing position, and in front is Brett Allison. Outmanoeuvres his opponent Osborne. Osborne tackled him too late, and the free kick will go to Allison. Get away, says Steele. Richard won't take that sort of punishment. And Allison now, his 8th kick. Kicks it downfield. Roos goes the punch this time and did it brilliantly. Nicely picked up by Steele and then ran straight into McIver.
Penalised.
Over the line he went.
Holding the ball against him. And Doug Barwick likes the look of it.
Scoring Popeye.
Why not? 4 goals and his team 58 points in front. Harris, Cracker having a run. He's obviously still not 100% fit. Has just had a couple of runs up the ground. Dwyer looking more like his father every day. Now a chance, Fairley centering it nicely. Duthie, Hinchin getting better as the match wears on. Roos, Harris playing the short game now. Not so well though. And it bounced just inside for a throw-in. 41 Fitzroy centuries against North Melbourne. Something any Test batsman would be delighted.
Just on 10 goals the difference. And Roos has had about 30 possessions and 14 marks is my guess at this stage. Here comes Keane again. Kicks beautifully with his left foot. Look at that. Off it goes again. He's been perfect with that. Armstrong downfield. Osborne should have held that one. taken by Allison behind him through through Osborne's miss. Lots of time for German. Out to the flank it goes. Hand pass from Spargo. Here comes Demetrio. Hinchin overruns it, then regains it, then runs into more trouble in the person of Holt. And let's see, was the tackle too high?
Free kick to Hinchin, yes.
Yes, it is. Hinchin. Wouldn't be many better back pockets. Out to Graham Osborne. How much time? Look, he can go and go again. Nobody near him. Then drives it, looking for Leon Harris. Not a good one, actually. And the mark is taken by Steele.
Brought down after marking. And the inevitable 15. Brings him into attack, but only just. Poor old wobbly punt kick. Hinchin, almost. Blakey. Graham Osborne. And North just not there in this quarter. This really has been their worst quarter of the match. Hinkley the knock-on. Hinkley again. Camperdown kid. Hooks it high. And effectively to Richard Osborne. And that might be 15.
Oh, that's got to be 15, Tim. Surely, yes. Silly play by Stevenson.
Very sloppy. I don't think he really intended it, but he just didn't control his momentum as he came in to check Osborne and made an awful mess. Osborne's 14th kick from 35 metres out. He's kicked 1 goal and he has kicked 2. And Fitzroy in this final term, into the wind, have kicked 4 goals to North Melbourne's 1.
And it was very strange to see that there was only one North Melbourne player waiting in the square there for that kick by Osborne. So pretty poor defensive work by North Melbourne.
Yes, it's been, I think, the forwards of Fitzroy who played so well.
Simply, yes, down to Osborne.
Nobody at home there either, Byrne, was there?
No, that's right.
In the centre, look at Thornton, through like a bullet. And he boots them into attack again with a great pass. Oh, that's exciting football. On it goes. Mickey Conlon's chance. Picks it on, muffs it. Schimmelbusch attacks him. Conlon goes on. Off they go. Down goes Conlon from one around the head again. Back at Conlon. He's really feeling dizzy, I think. And eventually it's picked up by Spargo, who puts it out to the boundary line. And Steele gets it. Off they go. Short passing along the line.
Allison to half forward, but there's Mr. Roos again. Watches it over.
He's had a bad night. He's getting lazy. He's only had 32 possessions.
21 minutes gone in the last term. And the margin a whopping 64 points. And who would have thought this at half-time? Bernie, remember that day? 34-16, 220. I think Matt Rendell kicked about 8.
That's right, he did. He played on Gary Dempsey that day and he led him a merry dance.
Arsieri. McCann coming late on the scene, now wins it. Holmes spraying it. Gets it behind. Ross Thornton.